Good evening, all. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Gary Marriott, Denver Skinner, Frank Casey, Christopher, Michael McLaughlin, Craig Thompson, Graham Allison, Tracy Dodds. How are you? As you can see, I don't want nobody mentioning my hair. I don't want no G.I. Jane jokes, right? Because I could say someone could get slapped. Didn't say I was going to slap anyone. There you go. Can you say that these days? Can you have a joke? Can we have a joke? What hair? Honestly, what do you think? Disgraceful, isn't it? 20 people in the house. What do you think then? Give us your SP. Everybody else has given their SP. I want you to tell me. We've got 22 people in the house. Shall we let a few more in first? Good evening, Sam Pierce. Good evening, Ben. Good evening, Colin Delaney. Good evening, Steve Pace. Let's ask a simple question then, shall we? Yes or no? Eggheads rule, says Steve Pace. There you go, boys. There you go. Don't be rude about my hair. Don't, Steve. Don't go there. Peter Piper, good evening. Ian Gould, good evening. So here's the question. First question of the evening. Did you see the picture I put up? Will Smith, Chris Rock. Was Chris Rock out of order? Yes or no? First question of the evening. I hope you're writing this down, Susan. No. We're looking at percentages here. Was Chris Rock out of order? Yes or no? So majority of us have said no. That's definitely right, isn't it, Sue? Yeah. I'm not fiddling that. Majority of people said Chris Rock wasn't in the wrong. To me, it was a joke. They actually said afterwards that Chris Rock didn't even know that she had this problem with her hair. So to me, it was a tame joke. It's something you'd say to a friend or someone you know. They know in the Oscars they get mullered, they get laughed at, Mickey taken. So Chris Rock wasn't in the wrong. So let's ask the same question. Was Will Smith wrong? Yes or no? So after Ben Sue, we want to see if people say yes or no. Was brilliant. What sensible people. What sensible people. You can't go around slapping people just because you're triggered. It upset you or it upset your missus. It's always out of the pram. Well done, everyone. And that's the whole point about this whole thing. This is the whole point about this whole thing. It's about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And if you can't understand that Chris Rock is a comedian and he comes on there as a comedian, look at Ricky.
Plus the women wear or make a statement to
don't they? Okay, look at me making a statement. I haven't got anything wrong with my hair, but you're all taking the mickey. Do I throw my toys out the pram? No. Sometimes are you offended? On the odd occasion, you might be slightly offended. It was a joke. I'm surprised he's not sued Steve. But the whole point of it is...
Even Will laughed until he saw his wife's face.
But he did. He was laughing until he saw his wife's face. And then he felt, oh, shit, I'm in trouble now. Do you know why? Domineering woman. Domineering woman. He knew he was going to get shit when he got home. Simple as that. Right? Now, at the end of the day, that's my opinion. Am I entitled to my opinion or am I not entitled to my opinion? Because this is my platform. No, I'm still entitled to my opinion because this is my platform. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's as simple as that. That's exactly what I've been talking about half an hour before we came on here with Devon and Cornwall Police. At the end of the day, this is my platform. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you find me offensive, then go away. Simple as that, isn't it? Go away. Sound has gone, or is it me? Have they censored me? Can you hear me, everybody, or what? Is it just Denver? Has he pressed the wrong button?
You're frozen at the moment.
Does it take longer to wash your face, Chris? Honestly, Simon Spruce, I'm offended. Yeah, eye contact through discipline. So can you hear me or not? Or is it just Denver? Loud and clear. That's all right. Yeah, so what I'm talking about is sometimes we get triggered. Well, I got triggered. I got triggered with a letter sent to me this week. I got triggered and I dealt with it in the right way. And if you don't deal with it in the right way, there's going to be consequences. And there has to be consequences in life. And yet, look at the hypocrisy. If anybody else had walked on stage and slapped Chris Rock, they'd have been thrown out of the academy. They wouldn't be standing there getting their Oscar. Look how feeble people are. They all stood up and clapped and yelled and screamed when he got his Oscar, only a couple of minutes later after slapping Chris Rock. Now, should we talk about size? 6'2" and a small bloke. The small bloke won't be aggressive, was he? It's absolutely disgraceful. I had to reboot my iPad. Thought you had your head on upside down, Chris. Do you know what, you lot? You are so rude. It's unbelievable. I'm getting triggered here. Now, if I was a snowflake, I'd get triggered, wouldn't I? I can't say snowflake because it offends snowflakes.
That's all right. They'll just melt away.
So the whole point of it is they've made me paranoid. They've made me paranoid because I know that everything I say is being monitored. If they took this picture of me now, do I look like a thug with short hair? Did I look like the mad professor with long hair? Now, the thing is, I've said this before, there's a special group out there on the internet about me. I didn't put it out there. A number of people got together and put it out there. At the end of the day, I'm not going to go into it at the moment, but I'm going to put up another feed about it because I think to myself, it's such a funny thing. You've got to laugh at it. You've got to laugh at it. And like I said, I just went into shock there. Not shock, but should I talk about it? Should I not talk about it? Should I actually mention what the situation is? Right? You have every right to give your opinion. We've been on this group now for 5 years. I just bought some new Gundog training shoes, mate. Good on you, Gary. Good on you. They're not white. They're not white. They got Nike written on the side of them. Rules for fools and guidance of wise men. We should have told Chris her hair's like the cause of condition. That wasn't funny. Shouldn't have slapped him. Of course, he shouldn't have slapped him. He shouldn't have slapped him. You have stalkers then. I got people who just can't put me down. They just can't walk away from me. But I'm not allowed to talk about them, but they're allowed to talk about me. Is that acceptable? Is it acceptable that I should have my freedom of speech taken away from me and me being threatened, that anything I'm saying on the internet is being monitored, and I could lose my livelihood? It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for me to make threats to people or reach out and hit people. And there has to be rules and boundaries. And that's what we talk about on this group. And what I'm saying is, this group now has been running for 5 years. How many complaints do you think they get in numbers? As in, do you think 3 people complain to them? 3 people out of all the views and all the videos we've done on live feed. It started off as the questions and answers. If you put questions up here and get my mind into thinking about dogs, we will talk about dogs.
There's one there.
Go on then, Sue.
I have a 10-month-old lab.
Yeah.
Keeps on dropping on in front of me and will not hold on to it. Any suggestions?
Lots and lots of suggestions. Lots and lots of suggestions. But on here, can I suggest it? Or is somebody going to be offended? Is somebody going to be offended if I give a suggestion? There's a number of people on here who've been in the shooting world. What happens when you've got a dog that's dropping it a little bit, and then you put the dog on a couple of flappers and a couple of runners, and it'll carry cold game around. It'll carry warm game around. Warm game's higher value than cold game. Walk backwards. There's so many things you can do, but it depends what you've tried. 10-month-old lab keeps on dropping the dummy in front of me, and I will not hold on to any suggestions. There's a number of things you can do. But if I said to you, oh, go and get yourself a live pigeon, throw out Dizzy a live pigeon and put a live pigeon out, when the dog brings it back, go to try and take it off the dog, and when the dog drops it, just let it go, because it will flap and the dog will pick it up and he'll bring it back in. If I said that, someone's going to get triggered. Someone's going to get triggered. So you can't say that on here, can you? But does it work? Yes, it does work. But someone's going to get triggered. Game ends. Game ends, as Denver said. But if you haven't watched my videos on Patreon, you wouldn't understand. But if you come on to Patreon, you'd see very easily how we get over the fact of getting a dog to carry it. Now, not all dogs will carry it, and sometimes it can take a month, 2 months, sometimes 3 months. Some dogs are terrible. Some dogs you have to force hold. Oh my God, as soon as you mention force hold, guess what? Someone's going to throw their toys out the pram. Yeah, force retrieve. What? Keep putting it back in its mouth and saying, hold it. Oh, how dare you do that? That dog doesn't want to do it. If the dog doesn't want to do it, don't let it be a gun dog. Let it be a pet. No. It's nice to get the dog doing it. But at the end of the day, Jeffrey Cooper, love your question. Easy to sort out most of the time. But some dogs are little buggers. But if you find something that the dog values, it's not going to want to let it go, is it? So that's why we use raised squirrel skin. Can we say squirrel skin, or is somebody going to get triggered? See what I'm saying? Every time I go on this live feed, I've got to be careful what I say in case somebody reports it, normally the same person, right? And the police investigate it, and they scratch their heads and say, can he say that? Is that in the rule book? Is that in the rule book? Is that in the new rule book? Because they've changed the new rule book, haven't they? I understand this. I have to act within the law. I have to work within the law. Unfortunately, society today is too soft for this live feed. The society out there is too soft. It offends too many snowflakes. Am I worried about the snowflakes? Not in the slightest. Am I worried that I'm getting put pressure on by the police because of snowflakes? Yes. Because it's the police who make the decisions, isn't it? It's the police who make the decisions. Now, for the group, there'll be a video going up with the conversation with the police. You'll hear everything that has been said. I have nothing to hide. I have done nothing wrong. But I am not going to sit there and be told that you're going to take away my freedom of speech. I want to act within the law. I have every right. Exactly what Earthbound Pheasant says. But if I said that, someone's going to get triggered, right? But I have every right to say that. And exactly what Michael says. If Devon and Cornwall got nothing better to do, I'm not anti-police. I just don't want to be bullied. It's by common law, right, that you have the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to offend. You have the right to go on the platform, especially my own platform, and offend. If you don't want to watch it, go away. And guess what? I've got a police officer saying today, yeah, I agree with that. Well, why haven't you said that to this individual? See, not mentioning names, individual, for the last number of years. If I'm going into someone's life and ruining it for them, you could say you become a stalker and obsessed, whatever they want to say. But I have every right on my platform to say what I want to say, and they have every right to investigate me if that's what they want to do. But threaten me with my business, then they're taking on the wrong person. Because as you'll see in the conversation, if we got to spend money, we're going to spend money at this point. because we spent money up to now. You people have helped us unbelievably. Why the hell should I be censored? I have to act within the law. I keep saying that because I know that this is being monitored. So anything anyone says on here that triggers me to say something and I step out of line, someone can go, right, that person's not a fit and proper person to have a gun. How pathetic. So I'm not entitled to disagree with people. I'm not entitled to debate with people. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's taking away my fundamental right of freedom of speech in this country. Unless they've changed the rules. Yes, they have changed the rules. They make up their own rules as they go along. But I totally understand anybody showing signs of unsteadiness, anybody being acting completely out of character, then surely you would monitor it, wouldn't you? Like Gary says, what a waste of taxpayers' money investigating you. Exactly. Now, what would you rather have? Would you rather have everything undercover, or would you rather listen to someone on the internet and go, he's a Nazi supporter, he's a racist, he's this, he's that, I'm not following him, and you just switch off, wouldn't you? Or unless you liked it, you might follow him. So what you see is what you get. Aren't you better off leaving someone to have freedom of speech and let them hang themselves if they're going to? That's the whole point. That's the whole point about this. This live feed was set up to answer questions for dog training. We got a nice lot of people in here who come in on a regular basis. We have a bit of a joke. I've been reported for drinking. Is it against the law to drink? Now, let's be honest. You all know I like to have a drink on a Wednesday night and I like to have a drink on a Sunday night. But you don't know my drinking habits for the rest of the week. Except Liz Horse, you'll know. Her and Gary, they'll know my drinking habits. Half a beer, I am. Half a beer, and I'm anybody's. Can I say that? No, that might offend my wife. You think the forces across the country would be singing off the same hymn sheet? Yeah, they should be. They should be. So surely, instead of trying to ban someone or bully them into switching off their live feed, if you want to monitor somebody's mental health, then surely leave them on live feed and let them hang themselves if they're going to come out with. So someone said to me the other day, by God, you look like that bloke who's been locked up for years and years and years. Never killed anybody, but been locked up. What's his name? Tom, what's name played him?
Manson.
She's just already. Manson. Charles Manson. Stop it. He'd never get out. He'd never get out. He wouldn't. They can't say that. They tell them to go and bully someone else. Yeah, but the thing is, what's happened is because of technology, it's give Bronson. Yeah, Charles Bronson. It's give them not Manson. Manson.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Colin Delaney, smack a dog on an arse and get cancelled. Show a video of someone having their head cut off, and that's freedom of expression. I know the world's gone mad. The world's gone absolutely mad. And the thing is, I said to the police, I said, it's had so many millions of views every week, a Wednesday night live feed, and how many complaints are you getting? Are you getting 300 complaints a month? No, you're getting a couple of people at the most, and you're getting one person most of the time. It's driving them mad. So what do? Take out the easy target. Take out the easy target. And so I've gone out of my way to try and change direction of where I go. I don't go on forums arguing with people, especially these pet stroke gundog forums, because everybody's an expert on these forums, and I haven't got enough hours in the day. I have not got enough hours in the day. But the thing is, Devon and Cornwall Police must have far too many resources to be wasting power on this. They haven't, Gary. That's the problem. They haven't. They have not got the capacity. They're underfunded, undermanned. It's unbelievable. Look at those special police officers. They're not even paid, are they? The special constables. They're not even paid. They're just people who want to walk around in a uniform. Some of them might want to do the neighbourhood a lot of good and help out. I understand that. But a lot of them are failed people who couldn't get a uniform, and it gives them a power for a uniform. Why would you send a man out without any wages? Isn't that slavery? You're entitled to freedom of speech on here as long as you're not overly rude to everybody on the group. And Carl says, if you don't like it, don't watch it, for fuck's sake. I agree. Gary is being sarcastic. Yes, he is. I understand completely, Gary. But the whole point of it is I have to tell you, I phoned Devon and Cornwall Police 5 times as soon as I got the letter. It's took them 4 days for somebody to come back to me. I can't be criminal number 1, can I? I can't really be number 1 criminal, can I, if they're doing that? Hey, every time I've rung, it's like we only work from 10 till 12 or 10 till 2. I think 10 till 12 because they're understaffed and they're having to do everything. And I said today that I think it's to do with the killing of those poor people in Plymouth with that lad who went berserk in Plymouth. I think, and they said no, it's not. It's to do with the new governing laws from the government, that they've changed the laws. Well, the government changed the laws because of that. So they want everybody to be looked at in the firearms, who's got firearms of any sort, to be looked at your past history. So they're going back and looking at the past history. And what they've come across is, 10 years of this shit. This has got to be registered as a problem. No, it's not. You should be looking at it. 10 years, he's kept cool. He hasn't said something stupid that's got him into a situation that we can take his guns off him. I think that shows self-control. Self-control on a big level. When your business is being affected, your family are being affected like it was. Other people have seen it, and we've moved on. Training dogs. We're teaching people how to train dogs. I'm putting my head above the parapet by talking about discipline where other people won't talk about discipline. But I'm also talking about 95% fun based. They're not phoning the police and saying he's having fun with that puppy. Well, I don't know. The police haven't come to me. Oh, that was a good video you did. I enjoyed that one. They must watch every freaking one of them because that's how many views I'm getting. I don't reckon I got half as much fan base out there. I reckon it's all the police are watching it.
Peter and me agree with Earthbound. Did you get any thanks for looking after our mental health during lockdown? And you did come to all people, didn't you, for that?
At the end of the day, Earthbound Pheasant, it's good to talk, it's good to have a chat, it's good to have a laugh, and it's good to have a drink and relax. And then people say to me, yeah, but you talk about sex too much. Well, it's good to have sex because that is definitely, it calms you down, doesn't it? It makes you sleep better. If you're not sleeping well, my suggestion as your guru, your sex guru, is to have more sex.
Don't believe him, anybody.
and if the wife won't do it, then find somebody else.
Well, Jada did.
Jada did. Will Smith's missus, didn't she? She believes in open relationships, but she also believes in talking about it. But did Will get offended? I would have sat there quite offended. I would have thought, bloody hell, me looks in.
Kendra says it's a stress reliever and good exercise.
I would have said, can I watch? Thank you, Steve. So see, Steve Pace, he goes, look. See, sex is pressure release. Exactly. Pressure release. Dead on. It's a stress reliever and good exercise. Yes, it is. Thank you. So as soon as I talk about sex, somebody gets triggered. Do you know who it is? People who are not having sex. Simple as that, isn't it? Devon and Cornwall police must have their brains tested. Police dogs, after all the videos we've watched. Exactly. Don't tell me that police dogs don't get discipline. Don't tell me that. But as soon as do you know what? It's like the first person who stepped up and went, hang on, this ain't right. You know, if you keep sailing in that direction, you're not going to fall off the end of the world. It's not. I know it's round, but at the end of the day, trust me. And everyone went, "You're having a laugh, mate." But guess what? Someone did it, and they proved him right. If it wasn't for debate and it wasn't for people disagreeing with each other, we wouldn't be in this situation we are now, would we? How many times? Wouldn't it be wonderful if instead of Russia and Ukraine fighting, that they sat down and debated? Wouldn't it be wonderful? We see so much tragedy in this world, don't we? With dictators and dominant people happy to watch other people die. Go and do it yourself. Go and get in the fighting line and do it yourself. At least you watch those old films with the kings, isn't it? They're charging into battle, aren't they? Leading them, or were they not? Or is that just freaking? Is just that just films? Is it? They sat back in the castle and went, "You go and fight your bastards. I'm not going." But lead by example if you're going to do it. But it's such a sad world, isn't it? That the media want to keep putting up video after video of planes and bombers and keep feeding media. Are all your police related to Jethro? Stop it. Stop it. You'll get us all locked up. We'll all be going to hell in a basket. Years ago, I was told having sex with us at the same as having a 5-mile run. More like
a 50-meter sprint these days.
Colin, it takes me longer these days, mate. It takes me longer, but it's more enjoyable because it lasts longer. I keep telling you, do you remember a few weeks ago? I actually gave you a true fact. It takes the average woman 45 minutes to get turned on. Did we say 40 or 45? 40, I think, wasn't it? 40 minutes to get turned on. So all this quickly, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That's where you're going wrong. But as you get older, it gets easier, doesn't it? If it takes 45 minutes for her to get turned on, it takes you 40 minutes to get it up. No, it don't. Hey, but the thing is, this could be being watched now, and the police could be writing it all down and saying, "I think he's on Viagra." No.
They could also be saying, "I think he's a sex therapist as well."
I'm on red wine. Right? I don't think that you could ask me enough questions about dog training to keep my mind off sex. Is that not right, Sue?
Yeah.
There you go.
The questions don't come.
But they don't come up enough to keep my brain flowing.
No, they need to be up every 20, well, about 19 seconds, I would say.
She can get you upstairs 39 minutes earlier than me. I was going to say, we haven't got an upstairs here. Stop it, you lot. How's Maggie getting on? Oh, thank God there's a dog training question. She's a little bugger. She's got gob on her.
And it's Meg, not Maggie.
It's May.
May.
It's May, not Meg. It's Maggie May. A mother's Maggie.
A mother's Maggie.
So if anyone's got any questions and you don't want to talk just general like this, fire away. Because at the end of the day, do you know breakfast TV? You know that morning TV? Remember when Piers Morgan used to be on it? And you know all the shit he got when he mentioned Meghan Markle and called her a liar, and he walked off Good Morning Britain. He didn't get thrown off. I think he walked off, didn't he? 44,000 people contacted Ofcom to complain.
Something like
400,000.
Yeah.
400,000 people contacted Ofcom to complain that he called her a liar. Now, if he calls her a liar, that's up to him, innit? If she comes back and says, prove it. But guess what? Why would she be watching that TV program? Because she was one of them who put a complaint into morning TV, breakfast TV. Hadn't she got nothing better to do than watch that shit?
And where Minions was watching it and said,
and the whole point of it is, if you don't like Piers Morgan, don't watch him. It's as simple as that. It's like Marmite, isn't it? You're either going to like him or hate him. I thought it was quite funny because he was quite controversial.
Good question.
I think personally, compared to what's on there now, a load of lame ducks. But hang on, be careful, Chris. You're going to offend someone.
2 questions.
Are you going to do the Sunday live on Facebook now, Chris?
On Corleone Talk.
On Corleone Talk, you mean, Gary, or do you mean Facebook? The problem with Facebook is it's open to other people, isn't it? The thing is, what I've gone and done is I've closed my Facebook down and made it private unless you're a friend. So you have to come in and be a friend. It did say on here, you could get subscribers only to view your live feed. I've been looking at that. Thinking, well, okay, then if anything is said, then you've actually subscribed to come and see me. You've subscribed to come and watch me. So
yeah, it says Corleone Talk.
Yeah, I think Corleone Talk is better, Gary, on the fact that we don't get the snowdrops, the snowflakes, the people who are easily offended. The triggers, as Sue says. The other question, Sue. Someone else asked a question.
Well, there's 2 actually.
Facebook's dangerous.
Another one now.
What's the best shoot day you've been on? Oh, there's been that many, Paul, over the years. I just couldn't explain the best shoot day. Do you know what the shooting I enjoy most is rabbit shooting. When you've got a couple of good dogs and you keep swapping them over, and you're rabbit shooting. And I also like flight ponds. I like going on flight ponds. I've done that much shooting, Paul. To be honest with you, it wouldn't bother me if I never picked up a gun and shot again. But I need my guns for my job. And the reason that would cheese me off more than anything of having my guns taken off me, I'd feel that I let our community down. I let the people that followed me and relied on my honesty, because I think that if I was feeling depressed or down, then I think I would hand my guns in. I would hand my guns in. I'm sensible enough to think that that's what I'd do. I'm a strong character, but I don't like seeing my wife upset. But my wife has had to learn to toughen up a little bit because of the hatred with a few people, and just a few people can cause so much shit. But I'm a stronger character. I'm a fighter. And when I say fighter, I've got to be very careful what I say, don't I? Because technically I'm a lover and a fighter, but I fight within the law. So if I was Will Smith and he'd had that joke and said to my missus, and that I looked at my missus and my missus was mortified, I might have echoed him across the freaking show and made him look a freaking idiot. But then again, you might make yourself look more of an idiot by biting with a joke. And so I might have said to my missus, he only said it a joke, he didn't know. And I might have said to him off stage, do you know my missus has got a problem? And if he said, yeah, so well, that wasn't very nice then, was it? But I don't think I would have slapped somebody for such a thing. And that's what made me ask that question when we come in, because it's about 50-50. When you talk about the people on the internet, and everyone's talked about it, it's about 50-50. Yeah, he deserved a slap. He deserved a good crack across the freaking mouth. You speak to my missus like that.
Well, not being funny, if Jada was offended, why didn't she get up and smack him one?
Oh, hear that? And she said, who needs a Rottweiler when he got Sue? Who needs a bloody Rottweiler when he got Sue?
Well, did you need a man to do it? No. You've got a couple of questions anyway.
Okay, go for it. I love rugby, so I watch. I don't like football, so I don't watch. It's simple. I agree 100%, Carl. I completely agree with you. Chris, dog question. Took your advice with my Springer Spaniel. Has made him a bit sticky. Will he just get over it, or do I need to do something? No, he's learning, isn't he? I bet he's a bit steadier, isn't he? Answer the question, Denver. Is he steadier? Don't worry about being sticky. Once you teach them, sometimes some dogs are sensitive. You've got to go down that road of just showing them, and they become sticky and they'll come out of it no problem at all. The idea is, when you watch my videos on Patreon, and I've had people ask me, because I put a teaser up on YouTube, they said, can you not put up the full videos on Patreon about Jeff's dogs, about the place board and how you teach it? Why? When I put it up there, I got criticized for using discipline. So I don't show discipline. Doesn't mean I don't use it.
Yeah, it's much more steady.
Well done. Well done. Don't worry about it then. But what you're going to do is just change the game slightly. Go back to letting him run in, but then test him and see if it works. Soft dogs are less forgiving than harder dogs. That's why I'm more forgiving than my wife. Not that I'm calling her a dog, but you could take it that way, couldn't you?
No, you are.
I am. No, I'm not, you cheeky sod.
No, you're much more forgiving than me.
I thought you meant call you a dog, you silly moo. Now I called her a cow. Now I'm getting myself deeper into shit.
No, you are. You are much more forgiving than me.
I am. I could fall out with someone, as in have a disagreement,
You trust
and
people
then
more.
make up with them.
You trust
Make up with
people
them.
more than me.
And that's what gets me as well. He's a sexist. How can you be a sexist when you love women? It's confusing,
How
isn't
many
it?
times have I said that you literally you trust people more? It's like
That was it. The group says, "Why don't you drop dead?" Well, I think I will one day, won't I? Why? They're talking about me. Why doesn't Chris Upton drop dead? Well, I will do
one day.
one day. Your wishes will be your command. But won't we all? Do I get triggered and fucking tell the police that they wish I dropped dead? They might be sticking pins in me. Honestly,
Now, leave that to me.
if I drop dead tomorrow, you'd all go, those freaking pins worked.
There's a question from Ben Donnellan.
Go on, Ben.
What would be the best way to introduce water training to a springer who is mad keen for water? I don't want all my precious training of recall, retrieving, etc., to go out the window.
Hang on, I'm going to have to read that again because I got totally confused. What would be the best ways to introduce water training to a springer who is mad keen for the water? Well, it'll be easy, won't it, if he's mad keen for the water? What are you on about? What do you mean? I don't want all my previous training off recall, retrieving, etc., to go out the window. Well, do you want him to go for a swim, or do you want him to go for a retrieve? That's that. If you think about it, what you're saying, I'm not being patronising. I'm asking a question. If you want to do water retrieves with a dog that's mad keen for it, yeah, get out there, do it. I don't understand what you're asking. I don't want all my previous training off recall, retrieving, etc., to go out the window. It won't go out the window, Ben. If you've got a dog that's really keen, go for it, boy.
Couple more questions here.
Kerry.
Yeah.
Evening, Chris. A friend of ours has a 3-year-old cocker. It's really sticky when sat next to him and won't go for the dummy. Dummy's thrown if you made it wait. Any ideas? Thank you. Well, 3 years old and it's sticky. Did they let it run in as a youngster? Or were they too hard on it at the wrong point? It's a difficult question to answer, Kerry, because all dogs are different and you'd have to read the situation. The best thing they can do is get a short video of it and show me, because visually I can see a lot more than just guessing, because this is a guessing game with that question like that for a 3-year-old dog. If it was a young dog, I'd say let it run in. I'd say with a 3-year-old dog, go back to gameplay and make it enjoy the game. And don't put the steadiness onto it. Get it being a little bit naughty to begin with and see if the dog will come out of itself. So if you're going forward in training at 3 years old, the dog should be reasonably good, and it starts to go wrong, there's normally a reason for it. Now, someone could have been a little bit too hard on the dog. Like Steve says, tennis racket game, brilliant way to do it, if the dog knows what the tennis racket game is. But the dog will automatically sit if you teach it what we show you in Patreon. And I have actually put it up many a time on YouTube. The thing is, on YouTube, you had 5,500 videos. You had 3.5 million views. I only have to put up 4 or 5 videos on YouTube, and I get 20 people join Patreon. Why? Because I just have to put up teasers. It's like that comedian. He has a warm-up artist, doesn't he, to get the audience going, and then he comes in and steals it all. And what happens is, does Chris Rock write all his own jokes? No, he don't. He's got writers, joke writers. So many of these comedians have. and it takes absolutely ages to get a stand-up show that works perfect where everybody laughs. But they go into these small clubs and they try these jokes on the audiences, the small audiences, and if they don't get no laughs, they don't use them for their main show, and they keep adding to it. When I come on here, I might as well sit naked, because I just got to go with what you say on here, you lot. And see what she said? I look like Buddha. Would I look like that little fat Buddha, happy Buddha? Or would I look like the happy money Buddha?
And Kerry said, thank you. I think he may have been a bit hard on him as he was prone to running off as a youngster.
Yeah, so you've got to go back to gameplay, Kerry.
And there's another question here from Sam Pierce. I have 11-month-old lad, good on lead, but awfully the little shit and don't listen.
Well, Sam, I build it up in stages. 11 months is quite young, but Labradors, they're just so easy. What I tend to do is walk the dog on the lead. You said the lead is okay, but a little shit and doesn't listen when he's off the lead. Just try wrapping the lead around his neck, leaving the lead dangling over his back. Get him used to not having the lead up in the air, and you'll find that the dog will become more steady and listen to you. The other thing is, if you've got a ball or a dummy and your dog loves that, and you send the dog from that side where you heel him on the lead, you can get him into the habit of the fun comes from your heel. So when you give your retrieves, give it from the side that the dog's at the heel. So if you're walking at heel and the dog's on the lead, you produce the dummy or the ball in the other hand, and you throw it out and you send the dog for it. And that way the dog says, if I stay at heel, fun happens from the heel position. Hope that helps.
There's another question.
Go on, Susan.
Peter Piper.
She's on a roll tonight, isn't she? She's
they're being really good tonight. Asking questions. Peter Piper says, are you going to be doing any training seminars this year? Or depends how much the petrol is, I suppose.
Oh, I froze. Look, I froze. Yeah, you're dead right, Peter. It all depends on the price of fuel. If the price of fuel goes up to £5 a litre, I don't think I'll be coming to Scotland this year. But if the fuel goes down, they say it's going down a little bit. I'm trying to get 3 training seminars around the country this year for people to meet up. And like I say, if you're in tier 2 and 3 in Patreon, you don't pay when you meet Chris Upton for a training seminar. If you're in tier 1 or you're not in tier 1 and you meet up with Chris Upton for a training seminar, then you have to pay. But it's a privilege. It's one of the quirks for loyalty for people who follow me. And this live feed would not have gone on as long as it has if I hadn't had the following. So we probably get 50, 60 people in during the day, evening for that hour, and then we probably get 500 views in a week with live. I could do a live feed and then just not put it up for everybody else to watch. So there's only 46 people in here, and if one of you is reporting back to somebody in the crazy world, let it be, as the Beatles said. Ian Gauntlet reckons I should have played a song tonight. I did it my way, because that's what I've done. I've given live feed most Wednesdays. I've gone out of my way to help people and be honest with people, and yet be approachable. Yes, we can all get a little bit shitty every now and again, can't we? We're only human. Well, some of us. My wife's not. She's not freaking human, honestly.
I'm an alien.
The things she comes up with sometimes, honestly.
I'm an alien.
See, she's been drinking, so she's an alien now. She's
a question.
She's agreeing with me. Come on, then.
Question. Steve.
Steve.
Okay.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah. No. What is the best retrieve that sticks in your mind, Chris, from any of the dogs you have owned?
Best retrieve, and I remember it to this day. It was a dog called Benji. Sitting, I'd been invited onto a shoot, and they couldn't believe that I was more interested in shooting the birds that I shot and then retrieving them than carrying on shooting. I was more interested in that. And I was standing there, and they had a garden wall, like a fruit garden, to the left-hand side of me. Part of the wall was broken down. It was in an orchard. That's what they call it, in an orchard. And I was the gun outside the orchard. And I shot a bird in the orchard over a big 20-foot stone wall. And it came down behind me. And I said to the dog, get out. And I thought he'd go straight through the gate that was open where I swung it to. He didn't. He turned round and raced backwards right down the bottom of the field. I thought, shit, where's he going? And he raced down the bottom of the field and somehow got into the orchard at the very bottom and then came out with the bird about 10 minutes later. And I'm thinking, where's my bloody dog gone? Where's my bloody dog gone? And I thought, you clever bastard, how did you know that bird was going to run all the way down the bottom? Because where it was shot, he'd seen it. But he ran back. Now, whether that was coincidence or whether that was just, I don't know. Dogs are clever. But another thing, people say that, you know, dogs are colorblind or whatever, they can only see certain colors and all that. I'm not an expert on that. But I was throwing a ball, a rubber ball, into a bit of water, like it was a bit of a, not a river, it was static, but it filled up from the river. And I was throwing it in, the dog was going in and picking it. And then he just disappeared under the water like an otter. And I thought, what's he doing? The ball's over there. And he come back up with a red cricket ball that was full of mud from the bottom. How did that dog know that cricket ball was lying at the bottom of that water? Because as soon as he got down the water, the mud would have made it. Could smell it, see? Could smell it, see? This is it, see? Dogs are clever. Could smell it. More clever than we think they are. And we don't, it's the same as ourselves. We don't test our brains half as much as we could. We don't even get into that about how clever and how we can survive with survival instincts when we don't get much sleep, and how we rely on so many things, but we don't use half of our brain, do we? My dogs know, they seem to know where I am on a shoot. I've never had a dog get lost on a shoot the way I train. Now, is that in the training, or is that the fact that I've conditioned them that they know where I am and how I react? And yet I've seen other people's dogs go missing on shoots. I don't know. I don't pretend I know it all. I just give you the information that I've got, that I've accumulated over 35 years, and to try and pass on my skill set to anybody willing to listen and learn. As simple as that. And I can't help if people don't want to learn. Don't follow me. Go and follow somebody else. It doesn't bother me if you follow 10 people or just follow one person. But I guarantee if you follow 10 people, you'll get totally confused. You'll get totally confused because so many people have got a difference of opinion. And how we train, we all train slightly different. But why did this live feed start in the first place? It started because I wanted to prove that I don't beat dogs for a living. And you people supported me. And so many of you did support me and continue to support me. And without your support, this live feed wouldn't be here. So you're the ones who are going to decide whether I'm going to continue the live feed, whether you like it or you don't like it. If you don't like it, we won't continue. But now I've had a word with the police and put my side across, and I actually spoke to a police officer who seemed to be quite reasonable about the situation. I'm not happy with what they've said to me, but I understand where I stand, and I stand in a far better position than I thought I was going to stand in. And so things have changed. Peter Piper, follow Dale. Yeah, follow Dale. Follow anybody you like who gives you the information that gives you a better dog.
Well, some people have, haven't they?
What about 3? It must go back to early foundation in making the pup want to be with you. Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. But the one thing is I don't do, Steve, I don't let the dog just go off and sweep up and go anywhere he likes at the end of the drive. I've never done that with any dog I've ever trained. I don't. I let them open up. I let them take in ground. I let them search the area where I want them to search. But do I want my dogs out of sight unless they're on a runner? No, I don't. I don't. So we've got 37 people in here.
39.
39. Sue's going to have a count. Sue's going to have a count.
Oh dear.
Here we go. Oh dear.
I've only got 10, did you? Oh, hello, William.
Good evening, William. You are right to talk about dog training and promote your methods. YouTube is a way to reach your audience, and there is many dogs who need help. Yeah, I do. Lost some people.
Oh, it's down to 35 now.
Yeah, they're all leaving. That's the ones who don't want to. So all I'm saying is 35 people in, 36 people. Yes, you think I should leave the live feed and we should move on and take it to Patreon. Yes, to come off live feed. No means you want me to stay on live feed on a Wednesday night. You tell me, you people on here, what we're going to do on this one. We're going to put this one up. We're going to put this one up. If you want me to carry on doing the live feeds, put no. If you want me to come off live feed because you're fed up with it, put yes. Let's send them a message to the arsewipes out there who think they can bully me into telling me what I should do. Because at the end of the day, I like a challenge, but I have to look after my own interest. If people weren't interested in this live feed, then I'd be quite happy to turn it off and carry on with my life. As simple as that. But the more I've thought about it over the last few days, I thought to myself, I am not going to be bullied into surrender. That is not my nature. I would rather hand my guns in and have freedom of speech. But trust me, by keeping my guns, it moderates me to the level I act in here. Because if I didn't have the guns, I could be more direct. Doesn't mean I'd be acting not within the law. But at the end of the day, I could be more rude. I could be more direct. So what I'm saying, everyone, is you people supported me, and I want to give back to you. So I give this for free on YouTube. And at the end of the day, I give Patreon on a Sunday night for Patreon members who pay me. So I felt the last couple of people, we spoke about it, and I said, am I being silly by not just coming off a live feed? And a lot of people said, I support you, whatever you do, Chris, and you might be best off doing that because of the snowflakes out there. But since speaking to the police in the firearms department and what was said, I want to give you guys the option. And I think Sue's added it up, haven't you, Sue? How many yeses was this, Sue? Like you've got, I'd like you to leave.
I can't find a yes.
You bastards, you just want something for nothing. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, everyone. And at the end of the day, what's the point in doing something on a Wednesday night if no one's interested? But we do get the same people coming in on a Wednesday night, so you must enjoy it to a certain extent. I will follow and continue to support. Thank you very much. Fair play, Chris. Well done. Thank you. My dog wouldn't be here where it is today if it wasn't for the knowledge of these live feeds, Chris. Thank you. Do you know what? I've had some wonderful, wonderful messages from professional dog trainers, from well-known film stars. They said, Sodom, Chris, keep doing what you're doing. You've helped hundreds of, everyone's going, look, he's had a freaking stroke. So, yes, I've had a drink. Yes, we've had a chat. Yes, we talked a little bit about dogs, but we've talked about subjects that are relevant. And thank you for tuning in. And I think to stuff them. I've watched you for years, Chris, on Wednesday night. Oh, we've got another 5 freaking minutes here. I'm doing it.
well, you
I'm doing an acceptance speech. I was going to get the Oscar out. It's going to get the Oscar out. P.S. I still ate puppies, and it's a big thumbs down from me. You are the oracle when it comes to dog training. I don't know, Chris. I don't know. You think about it, everyone. I was not. I don't think all of you know this, but I was one of the first people to have a website, an actual www. Gundog website when I was running dogs in competition, and I was teaching, and I was running my own kennels. That's going back a few years, and then everybody started coming out with websites, and you could read right through it. You could see he was a proper dog trainer, and there was probably, I don't know, 40 dog trainers in the country that I knew in the gun dog world, 40 professional dog trainers, and I knew most of them. And then, like Openshaw says, he says, before you know it, everyone will be a professional, and before you know it, everyone's got a website. Now you go on the internet and you go on Facebook, everybody's a dog trainer. Everybody's got their own gun dog kennels and they train dogs. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. And then everyone's offering, come to me for training, come to me for training. My whole point about this was I was seeing too many people getting turned over. People were coming to me for training over the years and saying they've been to this trainer and that trainer, and a lot of local trainers around here, and they were getting nowhere. They got nowhere, and they came to me for that reason. Some of them were arrogant, that they thought they had good dogs. What were they doing here with me? But what I did is I changed the whole aspect of dog training in this area by being open and honest with everyone. And that's all you can be. You're never going to be friendly with everybody. You can't be friendly with everyone unless you're false. There's going to be some people who rub you up and other people I rub up. But we don't have to be at each other's throats, do we? But the shit that we've had to go through for my honesty and my straight talking over the years, I have to pay for. I accept it.
And we've all been on that journey.
And we've been on that journey. But there's such a nicer group of people, shooting people rather than competition people in general. In general. Not everybody. I've got some real good mates who really watch my back, and we appreciate each other in the trial world. And we talk to each other. We know what we're doing when we're talking on these forums. We know what we can say and what we can't say. But I'm being as honest as possible with all of you. And I think you've supported me because of that. That's why I had that following on YouTube before the videos got taken down. And I've had to take a different direction because I've had to think to myself, I haven't got the energy to go another 5 years, build it all up again, and get taken down because I'm some freaking idiot again. So that's why we go over to Patreon, and I really appreciate you people who've supported us on Patreon. Without you supporting us, I wouldn't be on the internet. I'd be driving a freaking bus, and then I'd be traveling. But guess what? Life's too short to freaking worry, isn't it? If you're having fun, carry on doing what you're doing. If you're not, it's time to go, innit? Move on to something else. These snowflakes and people who don't train their dogs really need to look at what happened in the news this week. Young kid killed and bitten by dogs. Exactly, Steve. How sad. How sad. You know, that's it. The love bus. Remember the love bus? Yes, still in there. Still got it. Go on, Steve. Gary. I was just typing the same thing.
Well, I mean, Andrew Sharp said, taught me so much on training a dog with positives and rewarding a dog in that way.
It's so important to be totally honest, but to get results as well. Wouldn't have the dog I have without your knowledge, Gary Marriott. Thank you, Gary. And you've got dogs of a wonderful standard now, and I'm so pleased for you all. And that's the nice thing about it. We've watched people develop and grow and become excellent trainers themselves in their own right. And that's what this is about. It's about helping people. And guess what? Someone's been contacting me. I'm not going to say who it was. I think I've had 30 conversations with them in the last 3 days about dog training, and I keep saying, well, if you come over to Patreon, you can see it. It's all there for you. Well, okay, then I'm going to come across to Patreon, but it's the end of the month, and I'll have to get charged again if I come over now. I totally understand that. I don't think, oh my God, you can't be bothered. It makes sense, doesn't it? Why pay for join Patreon on the 28th when on the 1st you're going to get charged again? It don't make sense, does it? When somebody comes here and the dog's had enough, I tell them the dog's had enough. They may have booked in 3 hours with me. I say, look, it's wasting your time having 3 hours. You might as well just have the hour, or you might as well have 2 hours. How many dog trainers do you know doesn't take money off people just for taking money off people? We've all got to earn a living. We've all got to earn a living. But what you mustn't be doing is ripping people off. It's as simple as that. You've got to give people their value for money, and that's important.
I mean, Steve Pace, his comment, these smoking people who don't train their dogs really need to look at what's happening in the news with young kids killed or bitten by dogs. In the last 12 months, how many children have been killed by...
Yeah, but you don't even hear about the ones who get wounded.
I mean, he's got it spot on, isn't it? And I mean, this snowflake society that you cannot chastise or do anything to a dog. I mean,
so see what Frank.
The kids matter.
See what happened there. Frank Casey says, "I watch you for years, Chris, and I have no dog. I had to put my Springer down a few years ago, and we'll get one soon. Love the crack." Exactly, Frank. That's what it's about. It's about. If you don't like it, you don't watch it, do you? And like Sue says, these people who can't say no to a dog or understand a dog that is growling and being aggressive is a dog to be ignored, and say to the child, well, it's your fault for going near the dog. It's ridiculous. The society is ridiculous.
I mean, I know the society is getting softer, but I mean, getting softer, is it right? I mean, like you're putting the dogs before before kids or your neighbour's kids or anything. I'm sorry, it's disgraceful.
Anyway, on that sad note, let Sue's finish the evening. Do you know what we always say, don't we, when we're training? Always finish on a good note. Can we not finish on a good note?
Always look on the bright side.
Always look on the bright side. Get a Corleone Springer, Frank. You won't go wrong. There you go. Anyway, on that note,
you could get.
It looks like I'll be back next week, doesn't it? You can get a lurcher. Thanks, everyone.
You coming back next week, then, Chris? Are you?
Well, I just said to him, if you people decide yes or no.
So fuck them. Basically, isn't it?
Stop it, Susan. You'll be getting a visit from the old Bill. Even though
I'd actually like a visit from the old Bill, and perhaps then I can put my side across.
Oh, Jesus Christ! On that note, I'm going, everyone, and I'm off to bed, and I'm not waiting 40 minutes. Good night, all. Bollocks to you all. I'm not waiting 40 minutes.